This week we're doing the best shots from the Wuhan Open, including a long pot from Ding, this perfectly played cannon from Gary Wilson, and an impossible looking double from Mark Selby. But we need to decide which shot is best, and as usual we're going to be doing that by recreating all the shots as accurately as possible before playing them in the fewest possible attempts. And if I can get all of them in time, I'll even have a go at the Xiao Guodong plant, which as it turns out is a complete fluke. Something that definitely isn't a fluke is this shot from Mark Williams. He stuns it in nicely for the blue here in the first frame against Mark Selby. Despite looking quite tight, he stuns it in and goes on to take the frame, and then eventually the match by 5 frames to 3. Although having played it, I realise it's not quite as difficult as I first thought. Well, I'm happy with that, even if the shot was a little bit easier than I first thought. So let's move on to last year's champion, trying to book his place in this year's semi-final by finishing off Stan Moody. He just needs the pink and black here, and he's dropped a little bit out of position. But this excellent shot around the table gives him an easy shot of the black he needs to take the match. I've forgotten how fast my table is now, and I've given it too much power. The line is more or less perfect, but I should have stopped about 3 feet ago rather than on the top cushion. So I'm going to try again, but this time I haven't given it enough power. The line isn't quite right, although both of these shots I think I would add a good chance of potting the black. So I'm going to have a go again and see if I can get it properly round the 3 cushions. I don't necessarily have to get it this perfect, but that's pretty good. I'm definitely on the black if a little bit too far away. Now I really like the look of this Barry Hawkins shot as he refuses the easy pink to play the long blue, screwing the white down the table to open up the 3 reds. From here he's able to make a 54 break, take the frame and a 3-2 lead. He'd eventually win the match by 5 frames to 3 against Jack Jones. I'm finding it a struggle here to get the cue ball to spin back down the table on exactly the right line, and I keep forgetting to pot the blue. I've just got to get the pace and everything right, so when I pot the blue, the cue ball arcs down the table nicely and goes right in the middle of the 3 reds. This is looking pretty good. I've hit one on the right hand side, but it's opened them up absolutely perfectly, so I'm definitely taking that. Despite the fact he's nearly snookered and can only see the edge of the blue, Jack Lisowski still manages to cut it in. He's already won this frame though, and manages to win the next as well to bring it back to 3 frames all against Judd. However, Judd would take the final 2 frames and the match. When you're playing a thin shot like this one and the object ball's a long way from the pocket, it's always a bit of a guess. But with my first attempt I was close, and that's allowed me to work it out for my second. I haven't really quite hit this shot hard enough, but at least that does leave me the easy pink in the middle pocket. If you're wondering how Gary Wilson managed to go so deep into this tournament, then this shot is just a great example. Not that it made too much difference in the end, as he's already a long way behind Judd Trump in this frame, and he'd go on to lose it. However, he would go on to win the last 2 frames and take a close match 5 frames to 4 against Judd. This is a type of shot that I've been playing a lot better recently, but here I seem to be struggling, and there's a good reason for it. It turned out that my tip was damaged and had a split in it, but I didn't realise this until I stopped making the video, so for the rest of the video things are going to be a little bit more of a struggle than they normally would be, but I've still got the shot right. A weird shot from Mark Williams now, as he's already taken the lead in this match, but decides to play the brown at a tight angle into the middle pocket and screw the cue ball on and off the baulk cushion with left hand side to spin it round the angles and get in position on the yellow. This is a really tough shot to work out exactly how to play it, so I'm just going to struggle, I think, to start off with to get all of that right. This is just a strange shot. I took a lot of time making sure I've got everything lined up in the right place, but it seems to be really difficult to both pop the brown in the middle pocket and get the cue ball to come off the baulk cushion at the right angle. This is pretty good, but it's not perfect. Okay, so I've got this one wrong. I thought Ding needed snookers. He got a perfect one in behind the black and went on to win the frame. However, although he did win the frame, it was Stan Moody who needed the snookers. But I'm still going to play the shot anyway. Ding would lose the match in the next frame, so it seems pretty pointless, but let's go do this. This does explain why Ding got very close to doubling the pink in the middle pocket. I've got it with my second attempt, and maybe I'm trying to make things a little bit too perfect, but I wanted to get one where I didn't hit the middle jaw. I've got it with my very next shot, and it was actually better than the one Ding got. I told you he was playing well, but how about this for a match winner from Gary Wilson now? He refuses the straightforward pink to play the green, which gives him a chance to flick the yellow and blue into play, which he does absolutely perfectly. From here he goes on to take the match by 6-2 against Mark Allen. The mistake I'm making here is this is a plain ball shot to get the right cannon on the yellow, and I started out by thinking it needed a small tracer left-hand side. I'm slowly correcting that, although I'm not potting the green probably as much as I should be, and that might be due to the tip. But when I finally get it in the end, playing it as a plain ball shot, the cannon is more or less perfect. Mark Allen's levelling up at 3 frames all in the quarter-final, but how about this for a cut along the baulk cushion? Not only does he knock it in, he plays it with left-hand side and judges the weight perfectly to come down for the black and leave himself in good position. He'd end up winning the match narrowly by 5-4. It's really difficult to judge a shot like this with side spin, so I'm delighted it's gone in already, even if I am a tiny bit too close to the black. A crucial shot now for the world champion, as Zhao's managed to find a plant in the pack, but hasn't managed to get the cue ball out into good position, and is forced into taking this long blue. He has to get it because there's a red close to the corner pocket, and not only does he get it, he goes on to make a 1-3-2 break and take the match by 5-3. It's a good result to get this one straight away, as I'd probably get it less than 50-50. On to what is possibly the best double I've seen all year from Mark Selby now. The frame may already be over, but he manages to get it from so far down the left-hand side cushion into the green pocket, and it goes in, I think, without touching the sides. This is going to be a tough one to get accurately, but I'm going to give it a go. To be honest, that's a complete fluke. I just hit it in a similar direction to Mark and hope for the best. Up against that is Mark Williams, who has a lot more on the line. The first frame, to be precise. It's an awkward angle on this pink, so he has to play it slow enough to control it for the black, but not only does he do that, he gets the double as well. For some reason, I seem to be trying to pinch the pocket a little bit too much here, and there's actually quite a bit of room to play with. I just about get away with it on my second attempt, so which of these was the cheekiest double? Even though it's relatively straightforward, because the frame is still live, Mark Williams' shot gets 3, whereas Mark Selby's shot gets 5 for just being so difficult, and is this week's winner. Ding's playing one of those shots that's going to be really difficult for me to recreate now, as he not only pots this long red but screws back, and he screws back quite a long way down the table, and there's a lot of distance involved. This isn't going to be easy to get right. And obviously what's making this even more of a challenge is the condition of my tip. I'm pretty sure that's why I miscued there, and I'm still blissfully unaware that something's seriously wrong. After I finished recreating all the shots, I discovered it was split horizontally, and that does explain why I just can't seem to quite get the grip on the cue ball. As it's the top layer of the tip that's loose, I think that moving around is causing me to miscue a little bit and preventing me from getting anywhere near the amount of spin I should be getting on the cue ball. At this stage, I can't understand why it's not coming back far enough, and even when I seem to hit it perfectly there, that's about as good as I can do, and I'd expect normally to do a little bit better. But Ding's not finished there, because in the very same frame, even the very same break, he manages to pot this green at a really tight angle into the middle pocket. Not only that, he plays the cannon onto the brown perfectly, knocking it over the middle pocket and spinning the cue ball round the angles to get in good position on the brown. Obviously he's won the frame from here. This is such a clever shot because I wouldn't have thought of cannoning the brown over the middle pocket at the same time, but I was alright once I got the angle. Before the next Zhao Xintong shot, we're just going to find Mark, who's in Zielona Góra, Poland, which is there. Zhao Xintong is another player with a shot that's difficult to recreate, but this time it's all about the setup, because when the balls are this close together, it's impossible to know exactly what the angle is. I think I've got this as close as I possibly can, but it could have been a little bit thinner than this, it could have been a little bit thicker, and that would increase or decrease the shot difficulty by quite a bit. But as I've said, I think I've got this set up right. Thankfully, this is the type of shot I think I could get right, even if my tip was hanging off my cue, and I nearly got it perfect, just didn't quite get the cannon on the brown right. On to the fluke that you know I don't want to play, as Guodong takes a close final in the end by 10 frames to 9, winning it for the second year in a row. Okay, fine, I'm gonna get up, I'm having a go at this. Right, let's go see if I can actually play this. And let's just hope I can get it first time. Well, unfortunately that's a no, so I've taken the decision to speed things up a little bit, but I'm starting to get closer. That nearly went in, and that was even closer than the previous one, but unfortunately I've started missing them again. Nearly got it again. It's just such an impossibly tough shot to get right, and my tip definitely isn't helping. So as it was a fluke in the first place, I'm just going to take that. It's not over yet, because we still need to work out which of these was the best shot, and you can vote for this for free using the link in the description. And if you haven't seen some of my recent videos, because snooker's on in the middle of summer for some reason now, then have a look at these two that include the recent Saudi Arabia Masters tournament. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.